Hello guys, what is up? This is Castle Perfect here, bringing you another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle videos. And today we're battling, I believe, let's see, why don't I click on his name right now? It's Mega Pokemon Master XD. And we had a OU match here, so let's see how it turns out. So he's gonna lead up with a Whimsicott, and one thing that I really wanted to point out in this video is that whenever I'm gonna pronounce this Pokemon's name, you know, the enemy's Pokemon's name, it is extremely hard for me to actually pronounce it. So anyways, let's get into it. I'm gonna lead up with a Terrakion. He's gonna go for the Stun Spore, and lucky me, I get a Paralyze Hex on the very first turn. So he's gonna switch out into the Salamence, get the Intimidate on me, which is gonna cripple my attack stats. And even though I went for Xyzo, which is not super effective, it's not gonna do anything to the Salamence. So at this point, I'm like, well, what else could a Salamence do at this point? I'm paralyzed, so I bet he's gonna go for the Dragon Dance, and that is exactly what he does. So I switch out into my Cresselia, knowing that I can take at least one Dragon Dance Outrage. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna go ahead and cripple the Salamence, make him slower, because that's like the only chance that I have to stop a rampaging Salamence. So I'm gonna go ahead and put up Reflect, because I know that if I don't put up Reflect at this point, he's definitely gonna take me out with another Outrage, which the first one did almost about half. And I believe that sometimes when that happens, they always get minimum damage on me, and on the next turn I'm like, what the fuck, why did you took me out? And then they get max damage, you know, and that's what happens. So but anyways, he's gonna get the confusion here, and I am in a very good position because I did went for the Moonlight. I get my HP back, and he was in a very bad position because he was paralyzed and also confused. So at this point I'm like, well, I don't think there is anything else to fear against the Salamence, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go for the safe Psychic. He decided to go into the Whimsicott, and he goes for the Taunt here, and I do predict the Taunt, for God's sake. I don't even know how I did that, but I go for another Psychic because I thought that would be the better choice. At this point I'm like, I guess he's going to go for another Stun Spore. So I'll take the guess here, and I go out into my Terrakion, and I was absolutely correct. I did a great prediction right there. My Reflect wears off, and he goes for the Endeavor. Now Endeavor always equalizes the same amount of damage that you have done to your enemy, so it means that if your enemy got 300 HP and you did about 200, he's got only 100 left, and he goes for the Endeavor, you will have 100 HP left as well. So it pretty much makes the same amount of HP as your opponent does whenever you use the Endeavor. But what's gonna happen here is gonna bring out the Real Pushing. I go for the Rock Slide, which was a very bad move on my part. I should have gone for the Close Combat, but I went for the Rock Slide for one reason. I thought he would go for the Salamence, which didn't happen, so he brings out the Real Pushing. He goes for a Drain Punch, takes me out, and he gets the burn, which means he gets one. I bring out my, my Victini, and I go for the Sand Headbutt because I thought that would be super effective, and it will take him out. But instead, he goes out into the Salamence, and Salamence takes it like a beast because it gets the Intimidate on me. And at this point, I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and U-turn out into my Cresselia because it seems like my Cresselia is the only thing that can wall this thing to death. And that's exactly what happens. So he goes for another Outrage here, and this time it's not a Dragon Dance Outrage, so I'm gonna go ahead and put a Reflect once again because I know that he's got a Salamence, he's got a Real Pushing, he's got a Cloyster, which might just go for Waterfall, maybe Surf or whatsoever. It's got Shell Smash, because every Pokemon that can learn Shell Smash, they will learn it in battle. And he's got a lot of offensive Pokemon, such as the Darmanitan as well, and that's exactly what happens here. So whatever, I think the Reflect is the better choice. So at this point I'm like, well, it's Cresselia against Whimsicott once again. I'll just go ahead for another Psychic, but instead he Encores me, and on the previous turn I used Moonlight, but it seems like he's faster, and he will always be faster because of the ability Prankster. As long as you don't use a attacking move or damaging move, you will always move first. So kind of bad right there. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and switch out into my Starmie to take the Stun Spore because I do have Nature Cure. I can always switch out and get the Recovery. I don't even, or Recover, whatever you want to call it. But anyways, that's not how it works. I go for the Ice Beam, take out the Whimsicott, and then he brings out the Darmanitan. I thought for one reason that he would go for the U-turn and Beam Choice Scarf, because why else would you bring a Fire type against the Water type, which is extremely fast? But I just didn't really want to predict the Nice 18, and that cost me my Starmie, which was kind of unnecessary. I could have gone for the Nidoking to take the U-turn, but I guess sometimes you are just not as smart as you think you are. But anyways, at this point it's like Nidoking versus Hydreigon. I go for an Ice Beam after he went for the Protect just to scout out what I was about to do. My Nidoking is Choice Scarf, by the way, that's why it was faster than Hydreigon. Maybe that Hydreigon is strength in speed as well, but I will always win as long as I have the Scarf. But anyways, I did not end up killing the Hydreigon, which is kind of bad. And he's gonna finish me off with a Draco Meteor. I'm gonna send out the 15 and go for the U-turn, thinking that I might take out the Hydreigon, but instead it goes into the Boomanda, which is the Salamence once again. And I think that Cresselia should definitely be the epic one to take out the Salamence, and that's what happens here. So Psychic takes out the Salamence. It brings out the Hydreigon again, and as long as I know that the Hydreigon's got Life Orb, I know that as whenever he's about to attack me, it will always die because it doesn't have that much HP left, and I will go for the Moonlight because I do know that I can take at least one Draco Meteor, and I can always go for the Moonlight and get my HP back, and that's exactly what happens. So he committed suicide right there while I get my HP back to full, which is awesome. So he's gonna bring out the Darmanitan once again and go for a Choice Scarf U-turn. It's gonna be super effective as it brings out the real pushing. At this point I'm like, well, I could say it's pretty much good game. As long as you don't get a critical hit with the payback or something like that, everything will be fine. So I got my Reflect up, and I'm gonna go for another Psychic, which is super effective against the real pushing. It's not gonna be quite enough to take it out, but he goes for Drain Punch, and at this point I'm like, well, I think he lost it. I think he's not thinking properly, but maybe this might this could have been a misclick. I don't know, but I am deadly sure that even Stone Edge would have done more, because I mean, I know Drain Punch is stab, but it's not super effective against me, and I am using a Cresselia, which means I'm using one of the most defensive Pokemon in the entire game. So Drain Punch was definitely the worst choice that he could have done right there. But anyways, that's gonna cost him his serial pushing, and he brings out the Darmanitan, and as you can see, I'm gonna go ahead and paralyze the Darmanitan, knowing that it is scarfed. And at this point, he can no longer outspeed me, not even with his Cloyster. As long as he doesn't go for the Shell Breaker, I don't think he's gonna be doing anything to me. So I'll just go for another Moonlight. As long as he goes for the Flare Up, I'm in a safe position because he can't do anything else because he's locked into it because of the Choice Scarfed. And as long as I know that, I will just stay right here, putting up Reflect, Moonlighting all the time, and just playing very safe, you know, because I really don't want to miss this opportunity and lose this game because of some stupid ass stupidity. But anyways, yeah, it seems like it's about time for me to go on the offensive side, and I take the offensive right here and go for the Psychic as he goes for another Flare Blitz because he can't do anything else. And I guess at this point I'm like, well, it is pretty much a good game. I don't think you can do anything else. I do have 201 HP left, so I think another Psychic will take out the Darmanitan. His last Pokemon is going to be Cloyster. Cloyster is not going to be able to do anything, and I remember my opponent told me that this was a misclick. I think he was meant to use the Shell Smash or whatsoever, or Shell Breaker. I don't even know what it's called anymore, but I'm just going to go ahead and cripple it, prevent him for going for that, and even though he might have gone for the Shell Break or Shell Smash, whatever it's called, I think the Psychic would have taken him out in one hit, because as long as you use that move, your defense and special defense drop. And as you can see, this Cloyster almost died with one Psychic coming from my Cresselia. So I think -1 special defense would have definitely made my Psychic one-shot KO. And this is pretty much a good game, guys. Thanks for watching. The end score was 3-0. Yeah, I enjoyed the match a lot. So guys, please thumb up the video if you enjoyed it, and until the next time, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.